Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Well, happy Friday, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you're joining us on replay, let me know by comment or the word replay, so I'll catch your view. And if you're joining us live, welcome to the show. Please comment if you don't mind, and let me know what you're looking forward to weekend. Because I know you're going to find something enjoyable to do. And of course, I want also for you to let me know how you are feeling for the day so far. Life good? I'm hoping life is good, because that's what we want to hear, especially as we go into the weekend. So let's have some fun. Talk about the financial goods, if you will. It's been, unfortunately, a triple down day. And what is a triple down day, you ask? Well, the Dow closed down 219 points, the NASDAQ down 49 points, and the S&P down 24. It's unfortunate because earlier in the day, we actually did see some positivity in the NASDAQ, but overall, another way we really like to go into the weekend, but we started the week off with some good vaccine news, and it's been sort of a poster week on the financial markets. But let's talk about vaccine news, right? Vaccine news. Who's getting this vaccine first? It's really important because you want to know these things. This actually will impact the financial markets and will impact how our investments, including our 401k. Well, CNBC reports that 5 federal agencies have started sharing with employees that they could receive Pfizer or Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine in as little as 8 weeks. I know, it's really soon. And this comes at a time when here in the United States, the government tries to sort out whether they're going to distribute and potentially this life-saving, what this looks like, what those across the country will look like, and who's going to get it first. Now, as you've guessed, the first in line will likely be essential workers. Our healthcare workers, for sure, will need sooner than the rest of us. And according to the CDC, will probably be the first in line, all essential federal employees who would be among the first Americans to get the vaccine after the nation's healthcare workers. CDC first phase distribution plan currently lists essential workers as those who will be early to get care, along with America's elderly. Our senior citizens, of course, really need this, and other highly vulnerable groups. This could all change, of course, but that's what the schedule sort of looks like right now. That's what I'm hoping for, because if the vaccine is deemed to be safe and successful, hopefully it'll stretch down to more of us here in the United States as we get through this pandemic together, right? Together. That's the key word. So let's talk about this. Well, before we talk, I gotta say hello to my friends. All right, Lena, it's so great to see you. Mark, thank you so much for being in. And of course, CrossX Fighter. CrossX Fighter's playing no switch. I think I'm at 2 this weekend. With me, of course. And let's see. And that's right. Well, I don't know. Well, here's something I really want to share with you. You may have been paying attention to this, but you know what? There's something more. This is almost like a trivia question for you. What's more drama than Netflix and Hulu combined? Yes, it seems to be our government. See, the stock market declined again today as investors continue to watch the bickering between the U.S. Treasury and our Federal Reserve as they polite side over pandemic emergency programs. Now, yesterday, U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said the pandemic lending programs at the Federal Reserve would expire on December 31st. And get this, they will not be renewed, he says. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, thank goodness for Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, I'm just going to say that, was sent a letter from the Treasury Secretary asking for a return of $455 billion that was allocated last spring to the Treasury under the CARES Act. That's right. So the Treasury Secretary wanted money back from the federal share. If you remember, now this money was mostly earmarked for federal relief programs meant to help stimulate and take care of the economy. The Treasury said that these programs had already been served their purpose. Any money is not spent should be returned and reshuffled by Congress. So certainly this is sort of why we have a triple down, my friends, because more drama between the Treasury Secretary and our Federal Reserve. So you might wonder who really cares about the government and who really cares about the American people. I'll let you decide on that. And now we transition to what you've been all waiting for, and what I've been waiting for, sort of our favorite show of the week, which is AWA, or Ask Me Anything, where I answer your most pressing questions of the week. Let's just say that this week was actually pretty really busy, but absolutely incredible. I started with Mike from Fox Business on Monday, continued with keynoting CardCon on Tuesday, then moving to speak to the virtual stage with Sharon Epperson and the team CNBC, so on Tuesday. Moved to our huge Friendsgiving tweet chat with Suzanne Brown, Cheval, and Beth, Bernie, and everybody on Wednesday. And then Thursday, which was just yesterday, was a big virtual speaking day, I should say, starting with Forbes' conversation for women and wealth, where in addition to myself, Brian Garrett, amazing reporter and team at Forbes, and then we quickly segued and moved over to the LA Times talks, where we had a virtual discussion with consumer business guru David Lazarus, and he and I actually answered so many questions. That was quite a high. I really enjoyed that. I've been actually working with employees from the Los Angeles Times now for almost 2 years, so that was a treat. And let me tell you, questions flowed in at every event. So much so that it just goes to show you how people are still very much interested on financial topics and how do we get through this final time together so that you can manage your own money, your 401k, and make sure you have something to show for it at the end of the day. So awesome. And actually, I get it here saying, does anybody else hear an echo? And I probably because I need to put my microphone on. So thank you, Get It Hair, for doing that. All right, so let's take some questions. Let's start from the top. Curtis, want to share a question for us, please? All right, so the first question is, I'm really struggling. I need to talk to parents about helping me pay my now that I lost my job. Where should I start? All right, so let me tell you. So I get it. I actually didn't really love talking to my parents about, especially when I needed to borrow money. Having to talk to your parents, let alone anyone you need financial help from, is tough and really overwhelming. It's especially challenging when you don't know where they stand with their own financial picture. So that's sort of a start. I would definitely take this opportunity to really try and see if you can get a little bit closer on the same page, so there's financial awareness of where your parents stand and where you stand. And if you're going down this road, I think preparation is key. So here are my tips. Have a plan in place to know, number one, how much financial help you need. Number two, what research you did for alternatives. Like, for example, could you have moved somewhere else less expensive, maybe with a buddy, even at home, or a roommate? I guess that's a little harder with pandemic. Did you talk to your landlord about your financial challenge? Maybe seeing if your landlord could let you decrease your rent, or even, have an early exit if you're in a contract, right? If you're in a lease agreement. And number three, sort of what's your plan to be able to pay on your own again? And lastly, how do you plan to pay your parents back? And when will this take place? So these are the questions I'd start with. These are the questions I'd be prepared for. And it's most important for you to listen. And I mean, really listen to your parents' thoughts. Because, so many times I think, like, I do this with my kids, and my kids do this with me. Sometimes we're like listening, but we're not fully listening. And this is an opportunity to like literally sit down, put your phone away. Don't even bring your phone to this. Unless you're on the phone call with them. If you're talking to them over the phone, just literally no distractions, just have a conversation, try to listen as innately as you can. And if you're doing this via FaceTime or in person, even better, really take the time to listen, okay? Because I think right now, any reservations that they might have, this is a chance for you to really understand what they may be. And if they don't, and if you're on the same page, then that's amazing. And then you can come together and see how you can best tackle this challenging time together. So good luck. Keep me posted. All right, next question. Let's see what we've got. All right. My boss is asking us to go back into work. We've been working from home. I don't feel comfortable and safe to go back, but I don't think I should tell him that. I don't want to lose my job. We really need my income. What do you suggest? All right. I feel for you. I really feel for you. All right. Let's see. Well, I understand. I think many of us here can relate. Going back to work in a regular office environment is so much more than just work, right? I mean, the pandemic has created so much havoc for companies and employees across the board. The best piece of advice I can give you now is just this: to be honest. Explain how you feel and find a way to ensure your employer, i.e. your boss, that you'll still be able to get the work done, and if working from home. I always think this is the best way to do it, because especially on very challenging discussions, if you truly feel this way, you need to be able to voice your opinion that you feel this way. I had a manager when I worked at Smith Barney, and he used to say, how you feel is how you feel. It doesn't change how you feel. Therefore, your feelings are the truth. And, you can't argue against someone when you're talking about the truth. And so I want you to always think about that. Any challenging discussion, whether it be financial or otherwise, always go in the direction of truth. I mean, you might not feel good during that conversation. The other person might not feel good. But in the long run, it is always the right decision, and you will always not regret telling the truth. That's what I would say. So until there's a widespread vaccine, there will probably continue to be widespread COVID-19. So show your employer that you're responsible, that you value your position, and most importantly, that you respect the job. And let them know you really appreciate the employment, and be prepared to show that you can be relied on outside the office. So absolutely, building up to this, I would work your tail off, making sure that you over communicate, let people know when you meet deadlines, if you have bumps in the road, just try to over communicate, because I will tell you, as an employer, I love it when my employees over communicate to me. And in a very, my employees are really smart. They don't call me for every little thing, but they might update me like, this is done. They'll give me a timeline. If it's going to take a little longer, they just tell me ahead of time. I think that's really key. Now, if any of our viewers actually have suggestions for this, our question, I would invite you to add your suggestions to the comments as well, because sharing is caring, and I don't always have the perfect answer. And I think, especially in this type of question, the more answers or feedback or suggestions that you have, the better, because that helps us, helps this viewer actually make a better decision in terms of how they approach their boss. So good luck, and definitely let us know how it goes if you don't mind. All right, next question. All right. Question is, I love it when you talk about credit card IQ. Thank you. And earning points and miles. My fiance and I just started having more reliable income. Well, congratulations. You're going to get married soon. And we know we'll want to travel, and when it's safe to do so again. Do you have any suggestions on where to start? Well, first of all, thank you so much for your kind words. So nice of you. I'll tell you how I get some of my best information. And that's what I would recommend that you start. I read about this stuff all the time. Fortunately, I do get feedback directly from some of these credit card companies, as well as hotel and other travel companies, simply because I do spokesperson work sometimes with these major travel brands. But I would recommend doing this, because this is actually when I first started, and it's something I still continue to do today. I would recommend that you follow some of the best bloggers on this topic. Some of my favorites in the travel miles and points space include Jason Steele from money.com, Mark Osterman from Miles to Memories, one of my best friends, Bethany Walsh, one of my faves, from Bougie Miles. It actually took me a while to figure out how to say this. We were friends for some time. She's like, you're actually saying my company always wrong. But anyway, Her company is Bougie Miles, great source, and they gave you so much good information. So you want to get on their email distribution list. This is one area that is helpful because you can also follow them on Twitter because there's always new information that comes out, new content, new features, new point bonuses. So you want to make sure that you keep up daily because it literally almost changes daily. Another area that you can go on is to join them on Facebook. I've noticed that a lot of these travel points groups actually have Facebook groups, more so on Facebook than any other social media platform. They seem to be like really big on Facebook. So definitely happy point earning. And I don't know, I'm on the same club as you. So until we travel again, yes, hoping to travel sooner rather than later. Great. And yeah, and those of you who are watching, if you guys are big travel people or are big on points and miles and you want to jump in, definitely do that as well. All right, next question. Let's go. Oh, yeah, that was quite so cute. My kids are young, all under 9, but family members have given them some monetary gifts that I want to help them grow. Do you recommend I keep it in a bank account or invest it? We don't need their money right now. I want to have it for them when they grow up, maybe college or future computer money. I love this question. This is really refreshing because in the last couple of years, when I'll meet with clients, especially and parents, especially, I'll say, well, have you started planning for your child's college education? And, it was sort of like 50-50. Some parents would say, yes, I've started saving a little bit. Yes. Or they say, well, I should, but I don't know where to start. And then the other 50% would say like, I don't even know if my children will go to college. They might actually not need to go to college, or college might look differently. And they have a number of reasons why they didn't want to save for college. But I'm glad. So that's why I'm glad that you're actually thinking of wanting to save for college, because as you know, 3 months before I started college, my parents actually had to declare bankruptcy. And that was some of the hardest years of my life of juggling college along with so many different jobs, right? Just to make ends meet and help my parents keep their home. It was a really stressful time. So wanting to save for college is awesome. But these monetary gifts that you're getting, I would say use this in 2 ways. Number 1, yes, you should save or invest it in some ways. But number 2, use it as a teaching opportunity with your children and have a conversation about this money. With my little ones, when they see money, honestly, they sort of don't exactly know how to use it, right? Because they don't see my husband and I using cash very often. And certainly, most of what they see is just nowadays just Amazon shopping or Costco.com shopping. But so they often say, so where does this cash go? And when we were kids, we would take it to the bank and we deposit in the bank. But as a financial advisor, I know that I can get them a better return long term versus a bank. So therefore, they don't actually have bank accounts. They have savings accounts. So I would recommend this, that have these conversations with your children. Explain tonight the difference between a need and a want. This is really powerful, actually. A need and a want. And have that discussion, because you're going to find they have the cutest discussions on this. And then I would suggest setting up a college savings fund. Okay, because you talked about maybe college or future computer money. Well, the good news is you can actually use your college savings fund for higher education in most cases, right? Also, if a computer is necessary for your child's future class, for higher education, in most cases, you can use college savings money for that as well. So any other questions pertaining to that? And actually, those of you who are watching, if you have input, I'd love to hear how you started saving money as a child. That'd be interesting too. Lena has a question. I think that we can add to this. I think it's really powerful. How can a child who is 15 start investing their money? So Lena, great question. And let me just say that at 15 years old, this is actually a very good opportunity to talk about investing. Number one, you could literally set up a fake investment portfolio, let them have some fake money and set up an online account where they're actually investing in different investments, but it's not for real. So they're not really risking money. So that's one way. The second way that I actually recommend doing it is actually to consider setting up an account together with you and your child, of course, and that way, there's certainly benefits to that. And then having discussions on what they feel like investing is good and what they don't like investing in, and sort of get them excited about investing, and then actually making a couple investment decisions together. One way a young person can invest, believe it or not, is directly to a company. So there's a lot of companies out there that actually offer direct investment programs. So very, very inexpensive. That means you use a little bit of money and you go directly to the company and you might buy a few shares of that stock. I remember as a kid, in high school, I did this just on my own. I buy a little bit of stocks at several different companies. However, that being said, I don't want you to discount the college savings plan, because actually my children are a little bit younger. So my oldest is 11, but each of them has a college savings account, and we get our quarterly statements, right? Online, and we go through them. So they get used to seeing things go up and down. And then the other thing that we're going to be doing now too is I have established a investment account for myself, right? And we're going to actually make financial investment decisions together. So we'll pick a stock or we'll pick a mutual fund, and we'll have a conversation about it, and we'll decide whether or not it gets a yes or a no. And then we'll look at it again in 3 or 4 months, and then we'll look at it again in a year, and we'll see if we continue to believe that this is a good investment. In fact, fun fact, Lena, my kids and I actually grow watermelon in the backyard. It's true. In Southern California, they don't grow to that big. They grow to about the size of, let me show you my Bluetooth speaker. They grow to about this big. I actually should show you my watermelon next week. But so kids really understand the concept of starting small and having things slowly grow. So I would take this opportunity to have that discussion and really get them engaged. But you'll be surprised when they actually invest directly, they actually really invest, and you actually lose money or actually really gain money on any particular day. That's, I think, more powerful than just doing a pretend investment account. So hopefully that was helpful. Okay. Oh, and look at Lena says, in junior high, I was a top investor in my class, and I got a chance to go on a field trip to the market. Very cool. I love it. I love it. Well, I do have friends in the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ, two wonderful places to visit when we could go travel again, right? All right, next question. Let's do it, Curtis. What have we got? Okay. Goals. All right. What would be quarterly goals? Can you plan? Okay. Interesting question. I think we got them from Periscope. I think this came from Periscope yesterday from one of you, or was that LinkedIn? So quarterly goals are certainly something to plan. And one of the best ways to do this is to get a simple, believe it or not, a Post-it. Really simple Post-it. And just write things to do. And that's really, and just write down your key financial goals. So if you're planning for more than one goal, you'll likely want to extend your goal time horizon to a year or even longer, and then stagger those goals. So stagger reaching targets, right? So that you're working on one big goal at a time. So one excellent goal to have weekly, monthly, or quarterly is a short-term goal like this. How much do I want to save? For example, if you could save, let's say you want to save $200 by the end of the month, and that will make sure that you basically have to do everything you can to get to that number by either, number one, not spending your income, generating some side income, or even selling something you no longer need. So financial planning needs to fit your lifestyle. Your life cannot revolve just around planning. And then I challenge you to do something with that savings. So you could actually, once you get the $200, you could put it towards a credit card bill, a student loan, your emergency fund, which would be a great idea. But make sure that money is going somewhere. What you don't want to do is come up with a plan to save and then not have a follow-up plan. You want to make sure, remember, my friends, always make sure that your money is working as hard as you are. That is really, really key. CrossX Investor is saying, what is investment? Okay, Okay, an investment would be like, for example, if you're starting a small amount, let's say $200, a good investment might be a mutual fund. Now, understand, you shouldn't invest if you currently have debt. So if you have credit card debt, I definitely wouldn't engage in investing. You really should get the credit card debt paid first. You may have heard me say this before, but investing with credit card debt is like jumping into a swimming pool with two broken legs. You just don't get very far, and it's very stressful, to swim in the pool with two broken legs. And having credit card debt when you invest is exactly like that. So definitely, in terms of your investment, if you have no debt, you can invest in a mutual fund. You could even essentially invest in a stock, but at $200, you're not going to get a lot of shares. So typically, financial professionals will tell you that it's usually best to engage in individual stocks when you have at least 6 figures to invest. And this is truly because at $100,000 or more, you can actually buy a diversified portfolio of stocks. Of course, if there's a one-off situation, let's say you have company stock at the company that you're currently employed at, or you just really want to buy this one stock, that's okay. But just as a general rule, you're wanting to make sure that your portfolio is diversified, meaning you have different types of stocks or different types of mutual funds or different types of whatever that you want to put into your investment pizza. Because if it's only one area, and if that particular company just completes to tumble, all that money you have at risk in one area. So when you diversify, you reduce your risk. Okay. So thank you so much for your question, and definitely please keep me updated and posted on where that takes you. So great question. Thank you so much. All right. Well, you know what? I think we are good for today. So thank you so much for your support and for tuning in. We continue to collect all your questions, and I know we've got even more for next week, because I know that even during this, I'm seeing some questions coming in. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you again on Monday. So stay well and be well. And please do me a favor, totally enjoy this weekend. Even if it means at home, I'm going to be enjoying it on the sofa with my kids this weekend. And hopefully my husband and the kids and everybody will be doing a quick day trip somewhere here in Southern California. But if you do anything fun, can you let me know on our Monday show? So I'll see you again on Monday. I can't wait to talk to you then. Take care now. Bye-bye.